All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. This is our FAQ number 5, guys. This is five guys. I'm gonna get demonetized for that somehow because people hate me. No, but yeah, so this is FAQ number 5. Again, last video I did this, it was FAQ 4. I kept calling it number 5, but this is actually FAQ 5. So let's dive right into our topics here. But before we do that, guys, Wampa, real quick, we need to plug him. He wants Relic 8. He needs you guys to get this channel to 5,000 subscribers. We hit 5,000 subscribers. Wampa hits Relic 8, and then we can set a new goal for the channel, and you guys can pick a character that is needed for platoons, please, but we'll pick another one to Relic 8. So let's talk about the way to spend regular energy. I want to give a shout out to Sneaky Pete for asking this question. I've talked about this before, but I think this graphic will help everybody here. So I recommend spending between 300 and 400 energy a day on character shards. Before you even think about gear, 300 to 400 energy a day on character shards. Which for some players, that's going to be the vast majority of the energy that you spend. And that's the way it should be. You never want to not be farming gear, but you don't want to not have enough characters on farm that you're obtaining shards for. So I have a few examples here where I'm showing that for my current farming situation, I'm spending 320 energy a day on hard nodes. 4 of them are on 60, 4 times 60, and 1 times 80 for these guys. Down here in this example, I'm spending 380 energy a day. Now remember, Django and Droideka are twofers because they have ships on their node, but remember that it kind of cancels out because you need to farm that node even after you'll have 7-star Droideka and Django, because you still need to get the ships with the single drop rate. So don't go and think that you're kind of like really winning here, because in the time that you're doing that, I'm farming other things here. The whole Imperial Trooper team, you farm them on hard nodes, and it's 320 energy, similar to what I'm doing. This is my current situation here. But right here, this team, 320 energy a day. It's not a lot. That's a really great team to farm for that little, energy. And then finally down here, just another example to show you guys where 340 energy a day, you could be farming these characters from hard nodes. This is not including anything from other sources, whether that's the Galactic War store, Cantina store, Arena store, all those different areas. This is just regular energy, not fleet, not Cantina, regular energy. So this is the way I split it, guys. I kind of think of it in terms of, rather than saying, oh, 60-40, 50-50, 70-30, think of it in terms of total energy, that if you're within that 300 to 400 range, you're doing something right. And then anything on top of that, throw it into gear. I think that's the best way to go through the game. I think that will net you the best results. So the next topic I want to talk about is Grand Arena. And in Grand Arena, guys, what I want to do is kind of show you that there is the advantage to attacking, kind of talk about the advantage everybody thinks there is to attacking second. So we'll go to our first round here, and then I'll show the second round. So the first round here, my opponent attacked my defense first, and he scored 1581. So when I looked at that, I was like, okay, that's not really a great score. So he dropped against Qui-Gon Jinn here. Didn't drop anywhere else. He didn't drop anything on the back zone. And then he dropped on my JTR Ben, which is hilarious. But so he dropped on this team as well. So he dropped 2 battles, and then he did not touch anything in ships by the time that I did my first attacks. So he ended up never coming back to ships, obviously. But going in, I felt pretty confident. I'm like, okay, he dropped 2 battles. That gives me a lot of wiggle room. So I got through his first zone here, and I dropped against this General Grievous Droideka team. And the reason I did that was I just wasn't sure what he had in the back wall. And I was willing to play this a little bit riskier. Advantage being, he dropped fights. Had he not dropped fights, I would have gone in with maybe a heavier team here. But because he dropped fights, I had this advantage that I had more wiggle room, right? That he gave me some wiggle room to play with. So got through that. And then his back wall wasn't anything special. So again, got through the back wall here. Okay, 1-shots across the board. And then his front wall, again, I was like, all right, I'm not sure what I need to do here. And I tried something risky against Savage Press here, and I dropped the battle. And after I dropped that, I was kind of nervous because now like we both have dropped 2 battles. So I got into ships and I had an 8 banner advantage. And so I had an 8 banner advantage going into ships. And I one-shot his defense, and he set Profundity, Executor, and the Empire fleet. So I, pretty impressive one-shots if I say so myself, at least for what my account's capable of. So I messaged my opponent. This was him. I said, hey man, my Executor, his Executor almost beat my Profundity. I scored like 62 banners. I dropped so many in fleet. So the advantage really turned into him, where he's going to get 219 banners from clearing my fleet zone, which meant that he only needed 200 banners, right? That would put him at 1,800. He only needed 200 banners from fleets, which now that's advantage in his court that he knows, okay, I can score, 67 banners on each of these fights and I win. So when you think about that, we each kind of had some advantage. I squandered mine. I put it back in his court, but he was obviously never able to finish it off. Same thing here in the second round. It's still ongoing at the time of recording. I made a mess of my attacks here. Let's start with the first one I did, actually. Let's go over here to the north wall. And I looked at my opponent's defense. Actually, we'll start here. So we looked at my opponent's defense, and I saw he placed 4 Galactic Legends on this wall. And then on this other side, he placed Starkiller, Grand Inquisitor, Malgus, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Jabba the Hutt. And so my only real win condition for a full clear was if I could get Starkiller to work against Starkiller here, and my Wampa to work against Starkiller. And he got stunned, even though Mara Jade only has 37% tenacity, or tenacity potency. Gosh, it's late at night. So I was furious. That was basically GG's for me. So I was like, you know what? My opponent, because he has a really good account, so I was like, there's no way he shouldn't clear. So what I ended up doing then was I tried to use Treya against JML. Again, just kind of messing around, seeing what I could do. So then I was like, you know what? Pride took over. One shot, this wall here, opened up the back wall. And then I actually messaged him to say, hey, good luck. Like, expect you to run the table kind of thing. He's got a pretty big account. And he actually said, you can still overtake. I can't go any further. Close the bottom and you will win. So I need to message him back and say, GG's to him. Like, that was, good on him. And I would have gone back and cleared it after I saw that what he did. What I noticed here, so he dropped against General Skywalker. I actually think he got through fleets really cleanly. So I don't know what happened. I'd love to know what happened. But he one-shot fleets, it looks like. I can't see the negotiator one, but I'm assuming that was a one-shot. And then over here, I don't think he's attempted these 2 battles yet. And then he dropped twice against this separatist team here. So, again, I don't know what he did and didn't use. But he did set a pretty tough defense, at least in the front 2 walls there. So I could understand where he might have run out of stuff. And then again, his back wall wasn't that great. So I was able to get through it in the end. But there was this advantage, again, to him attacking second, that if he saw that I had cleared up to here and then he had full cleared, like, that's advantage him, that all he had to do was clear. So, again, I think he squandered that a little bit in the sense that unless he's still got stuff, which he very well could, I'm going to pretend that he doesn't for the sake of this video, that he doesn't have the stuff to clear now, but had he cleared the south wall and then come up here and seen what he could do, he'd probably be a lot better off and would be winning this GAC. So the last topic I want to talk about for the FAQ is going to deal with the way that I think players sort of get off the rails with zetas, where people run out of zetas. So I myself am actually running pretty low for where I normally am. I'm at 78 of 20, and I need 9 total zetas for Jabba and Chrysanthemum, Bush Leia, and Skiff Guard. So I need 9 total zetas for them. I think the reason we run out of zetas comes down to, I think it's a couple of factors. Number one, like, every character needs zetas now. But you look, I mean, I've got zetas on a low gear armor, low gear Tuskens. There's 5 zetas right there on just like characters that are below, that are gear 8. Boom, there's a bunch. But even if you look through, like, and I've made this before where I've shown you guys some of the zetas that I've wasted, right? You know, we've got some zetas where there's a little bit of question on why I have that zeta. You know, somebody like Bo-Katan, I've got her zeta. And again, some of these have been on characters for a long time, like Maul zeta. Zeta Maul lead with, he was my first zeta, and Savage's zeta was actually my second, which is pretty funny to think about. But like, I've got a lot of zetas like on my, you know, Night Sisters. Jolie's got one. Like, I've got them on some characters that maybe in hindsight would like to have those zetas back. But if you're ever curious, Commander Cody's got a zeta. Woof. So if you're ever thinking you're gonna run out of zetas, the smartest thing you can do is only equip them to a character that you use, rather than just thinking to yourself, "Oh yeah, you know, Grand Moff Tarkin, I actually should give his other zeta to." But like Jango Fett, notice I don't have the zeta on his leadership ability here, or even like Zam. I gave Zam her unique zeta, but I didn't give her Omicron, so like her unique is really not doing me any good. And I'd love to give her that Omicron. I just haven't really gotten around to it yet. I should. I just am like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too much of a sissy to do it. But you know, again, it comes down to this: how much are you going to use that zeta? How much use are you going to get out of it? So those are the kind of questions to ask yourself to make sure that you're not just throwing zetas on characters to throw them on. Remember, you can always put it on the character. You can't take it off once it's there. So I prefer the horde method and then kind of spend them as I see fit rather than jumping the gun. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. As always, smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Cheers.